Okay. Um, Good afternoon. So I think you can see my window, right? Presentation. Okay, thank you. So today we will be talking about the white box testing, right? So when it comes to the white box, so like before going to a definition, so can you remember or can you tell what is all about the black box testing? Black box testing අපිට කියන්නේ. So in the software world, black box testing is a testing approach uh, under the dynamic testing. So usually black box testing are more focusing on the specification related testing. So we simply consider the entire software as a black box, and the person who is doing the testing does not know how the coding is implemented inside the software, but the tester will derive several input combinations based on the specification or the SRS requirement document and check whether the given input combinations are generating the desired output. If the output is as expected, so we call it that particular software component to the software part is successfully passed, or otherwise we say it's failed. So that is the story of black box testing. And when it comes to white box testing, as the black box testing, it is also another type of dynamic testing where the code execution is there. And the main difference is in the black box testing, we consider the entire software as a black box. We don't know how the implementation, how the code is inside of the software. But when it comes to the white box testing, people will consider the software as a white box or the glass box, which is transparent. It means basically the code is visible to the tester. So usually the tester will input different values, and the tester will examine how the data flow or the control flow will happen inside of the code, and then check the output. So that is the mainly about this white box testing. So usually we can say this white box testing as a structure based testing. It's because we mainly testing the structure of the code, structure of the software. So we have so many different white box testing techniques. So today we will be learning about these set of white box test design techniques. So the statement testing, decision branch testing, condition testing, condition decision testing, multiple condition testing, MCDC testing. So the MCDC is representing the modified condition and decision condition testing. And the last one is the path testing. right? So when you like develop software, so your code will have different structures. For example, most of the case, if else there will be, or in some cases there will be loops. So in order to make sure that your logical representation of the loops, or either the what we call it, conditions or the if-else statements, so you can simply do this white box testing. So mainly because it's focusing about the structure of the program. So let's for today's session we will take this particular program. So if I explain this particular program, so it's a very simple one, right? So the first it will read X, Y, Z, then it will goes to a decision. So the program will examine whether, or the check whether the X is greater than 1 and Y is 0. So if yes, Z will be equal to Z divided by the value of X. Then print, the print Z will be executed. So then after that, again it will check whether the X equal to 2 or Z is greater than 1. So if this particular condition is satisfied, then Z will be equivalent to Z plus 1. And then again it will print the Z. Right? So when we like, this is the flow chart. So if when it goes to the code implementation, so this is something what we call a pseudocode, right? So you can see, since like there are no any statements under the else part, so that's why if and if is there, no else is represented, right? So when it comes to the first testing, so it will be the statement testing. So as the word statement testing, so this kind of white box testing will focus on the statements, the execution of statements of the software code. So basically, in order to become a whatever testing as a statement testing, so you should have to design a test that execute all the statement at least once of your program, right? ඔගොල්ලෝගේ කෝඩ් එකේ තියෙනවා නම් ස්ටේට්මන්ට් 100ක්, ඒ ස්ටේට්මන්ට් 100ම අවබෝධයෙන් එක් වතාවක් හෝ run කරගන්න විදිහට ඔයගොල්ලෝ ටෙස්ට් එකක් ඩිසයින් කරනවා. So we can call it as statement testing. And this particular statement testing is used as a industrial metric, right? So usually number of statements in the source code which have been executed, that could be the measurement. So if I go to the example, so this is my program, right? So when it goes to statement testing, so whenever you are requested to develop do the statement testing, it is something you need to run each and every statement at least once. So it means, so if I highlight my testing path, right? If I highlight my testing path, right? So read X, Y, Z. This will be, anyway, this is the first statement. So this has to be executed. So then I have to execute this particular condition, then this. So likewise, I have to do, right? So since this particular code, say the program is not having else statement, so it is easy. So I can basically, if I found suitable value for print X, Y, Z, that goes under this red color, what we call path. So I can do the statement testing in a one execution, right? So then next challenge is I have to find the possible values for the X, Y, Z. So that is a matter of calculations, right? So you simply, in order to go to this particular Z equals Z divided by X statement, so you should satisfy this particular condition. So it means your X, Y should be satisfying this condition, right? So according to that, X should be greater than 1. So the next value of the greater than 1 will be 2, right? So I have selected 2. And since this is, and then Y equals 0, so again I can put Y equals 0, right? And so this is AND operator. So the AND operator implies that both subconditions should be satisfied or should be true in order to go to this particular section. So then I can stop with X equals 2, Y equals 0 value. Then Z equals Z divided by X. So we know our X. So X is 2. Right? So for the moment, we will just pause. Right? And then we will go to the second decision point. Right? So when we go to the second decision point, so it is X equals 2 or Z is greater than 1. So now this particular condition is saying X should be 2. So then that is okay, right? X equal 2 is okay. But and and then Z should be greater than 1. So the next value, which is greater than 1 for the Z will be 2, right? So so then if I assign value 2 in here, 2 equal 2 divide, sorry, Z equal 2 divided by 2 will be 1. So likewise, you can simply derive values for statement testing, right? So in the examination or in the industry, right, you will get this either flowchart or the software code, right? If you are requested to develop the statement testing, so what you have to do is you have to understand what are the X, Y, Z values, right? So that is what is expected. So are you clear? This statement testing, is it clear? Okay, so we will move to the next one. So then we have the decision branch testing, right? So unlike in the statement testing, so what we have to do is we have to at least execute all statement at once, at least one time, right? In the decision branch testing, what we have to do is, if there is what we call branches in your code, you have to run at least each and every branch of your code. It means you have to basically test either true path or false path, right? So you have to find the desirable values that could execute both decisions, true and false paths, right? So if I go to this test one, so since this particular program has, so what you have to understand is, so whenever there is a decision, true and false is there, right? In some cases, in the either true or either else false path, there won't be any statement to be executed, but anyway there is a path, right? So whenever you have a decision point, it means you have to evaluate at least two testing, do the testing in order to go to the false path and the true path. So this one we have obtained from our statement testing. So basically this is our true path values, right? So when it comes to the test 2, so we have to, so now we have covered this true path. Now we have to cover our false path, right? It means read x, y, z, then the condition print z, again condition print z. We have to eliminate this z equals statement, right? So how we going to do is, we basically enter values to this particular decision point and this particular decision point that could give a false value. So x is greater than 1 and y is equal 0. So if we get a value other than 0 for y, so since this is an AND operator, this will automatically go for the false part. So that's why I put y equals 1 in here. Right? If you are really good with dealing decimal points, so you can go for 0.01. That's totally okay, right? Whatever that you could make the outcome of this particular decision false will be valid answer, right? So then my y is there. So since y is not y is 1 and y is not y is equal 0, sub condition is dissatisfied. So this particular section is not going to execute, but this will execute. So when it comes to the second what we call second condition, so in here I have to, in order to make this particular condition false, both sub conditions have to be false, since this is the operator O operator. So in this case, x is equals 2 is the valid one. So I can take whatever value for 2 for x which is not equal to 2. So in here I have put it as 1. So then Z should be greater than 1. So it means whatever value that is either 1 or lower value will give this particular subcondition false. So I have get Z equals 1. So then I can execute this particular part. Right? This is how you are doing the decision branch testing. Right? In the examination or in your quizzes, this kind of flowchart will be appear or the code. So then you have to derive the possible values for your decision branch testing. Right? So in decision branch testing, right? So we have to basically we have to identify the data that could goes for both true and false path of a decision or the branch, right? So when you are doing 100% decision coverage, right, it will use statement 100% statement coverage also, right? It's because so I have covered all true paths here, then again all false paths here. So if I if I draw it something like this, right? So this path is also completed. So it means all false are executed, all truths are executed. So in that case, 100% statements are covered, right? So that is what is mean by 100% decision coverage gives 100% statement coverage, right? So like so the defects sometimes will be there if you forget to test decisions or branches, right? So then we have another testing mechanism called condition coverage. So in here, rather than looking at the entire decision logic, we goes to small conditions, so the atomic conditions, right? So these atomic conditions should be at least true and once false. And like when you're doing this condition coverage, you will realize that the condition coverage will not always leads to the decision coverage, right? So when if we take this particular condition, right? So we have two atomic conditions in this particular decision, right? One is x greater than 1, other one is y is equal to 0, right? So in here we have this one and this one. So the logic is I should cover I should get values that each and every subconditions goes true and false, right? So in order to, so the green color will tell you the false, sorry, true satisfying values. Sorry, red color will be false values, right? So for this particular x is greater than 1, like I said before, so we can take 2 as the valid one. 1 will be not valid one, right? And for y equals 0, so we can take y equals 1 and y equals 0. But the problem is, since this is AND operator, always our decisions will be false, right? But we do not consider decision. About decision, we only do, we have to have both true and false condition for each and every sub or the atomic conditions of our main decision, right? So when it goes to the test 1, right? So we will go with x equals 2, y equals 1, and z would be won't be a matter, as this particular decision is not having any sets, right? So we can go with this particular data, or either one can use this one now also, right? But the point is, if one is selected to use the values of test 2, so the test 1 we don't need to do, because in the condition coverage we only consider about the getting the true and false at least once for our sub conditions or the atomic conditions, right? So likewise, the same is repeated to our second decision, right? So then we have the decision condition coverage, right? So now you have to be like well conscious, right? So you have to develop what we call a test that could gives you a achieving both decision coverage and the condition coverage, right? So it means, so if we go to the decision coverage, we have to go test both true part and false part of our decision. And then when it comes to the condition coverage, in the large decision, each and every sub what we call sub or the atomic conditions should be have the true and false value, right? So then, so if we go to this decision condition coverage, right? So we have to consider about these two subatomics getting true and false, also the decision getting both true and false, right? So then if we consider first test, so we can make both conditions true, then we can get true. Since this is AND operator, right? And again, we can make both subconditions false, then we can get false, right? So if we evaluate, right? So you can see it. So this particular condition is evaluating both true and false. Again, this one is also getting true and false. So it means basically the condition coverage is satisfied. And then all together with this operator and operator, right? The decisions will give true and false. So in that case, we have both true and false. It means decision coverage is complete. So likewise, you have to find values when you are requested to do the decision condition coverage that gives the bigger decision in both true and false. Also, the or the atomic conditions are false and we call true, right? So then we have the multiple condition testing, right? So the multiple condition testing is very easy one. Rather than the previous one, we don't have to like have a very set of specific values, right? So when it comes to the multiple condition testing, it means you have to find all possible combinations of what we call test our decision, right? So we can, so if we go, right? So we have one. So let's right. So in here we have two sub conditions, right? So 2 to the power 2 is 4. So it means we can have 4 different combinations as the all possible condition combinations or the multiple condition combinations, right? So atomic conditions will appear as the n, right? So this will be atomic conditions, right? And then you have to do the 2 to the power n. So this is the very basic logic of your old age truth table, right? So in here you can see for the test 1, I have make both conditions true. Then true and false, false and true, false and false. These are the all possible combinations, right? So again, the same thing we can do this it for this particular condition. Then we have the path testing. So the path testing is a somewhat tricky one, right? So we have to go for each and every path. So let's discuss. So you can see if we have two different conditions, right, with us for our program, so we can have four different paths, right? I can go for, write it for you here. So this is true, and again this is true. So now this is false. This is also, sorry. So this is false. Again, this is not this one, right? Again, this is false. So in here, this is true. Sorry, this is false, and this is true. This is true, and this is true. So likewise, I can have four parts, right? So this is about the part testing, right? These are all about the what we call white box testing types, right? So do you have any issues?
No, miss.
Okay.